Dune Awakening, a highly anticipated survival MMO that is launching on the 20th of May 2025. This has been in development for years now, and we've seen tons and tons of gameplay clips and other little bits and bobs, but recently they released their release date trailer alongside a character creator and a benchmark mode. Now, we've already covered what Dune is and the gameplay itself. Today we're going to have a look at the character creator and the benchmark mode, see how my computer holds up against it, and see what funky stuff we can do with the characters. I've had a quick look at the character creator, and the amount of detail that is in there is absolutely insane. You can change almost every single aspect of your character, which I love, and I love how they've gone about doing this. I'm very excited to see how it goes, and once again, this is like an Icarus and Ark amalgamation. I'm very excited for this. The only downside to me is the actual the MMO side. I don't know if it's going to be playable solo. They have said in many things that it is a playable solo experience, but how that's going to work, whether you're going to get a full experience as a solo player, I don't know. Let's have a look at the character creator and benchmark. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like in the video, and stick around for much more Dune content.
The only peace I find is a future that never happened. One where I, Paul Atreides, was never born. I created the future, until it created me. But I see a narrow way, a path that might have been. What if my mother had obeyed her orders and given birth to a girl? Everything would change. Dr. Yue exposed before his betrayal. A world where my father lives. House Atreides surviving the Battle of Arrakeen. Sardaukar deployed to protect the spice melange. A war of assassins spreading across the planet. Fremen exterminated. No Muad'Dib. No Lisan al-Gaib. No Kwisatz Haderach. All of my visions lead to horror. Except for this one. This one leads to you.
Now, that was the first thing you were greeted by when you open the character creator and benchmark mode, which I absolutely love. I think the cutscenes that they've done in this so far and the way that they all look is absolutely visually stunning. They look brilliant. Now, I don't know the storyline behind the games. I've not watched the films. It's something I'm planning on doing before it actually launches on the 20th of May. But so far, everything is really interesting me. I love the look of the game, the way that the cutscenes are made. Hopefully we see things like that in-game as well. The character benchmark, I've already run it once without recording, just to see how things would go there. I'm going to run it today whilst recording and see how things go. There's some really cool footage in the benchmark mode. So let's have a look at the benchmark mode first, and then we'll jump into the character creator. So as you can see here, this is the main menu. It's an initial check of hardware performance and system compatibility. Results are not guaranteed to represent final gameplay experience or performance. So could be completely shit when you get the game. So we're now entering the benchmark, which goes through various scenes in the game, covering various areas such as trading settlements, base builds that people have put together. I'm assuming this is a base build. It does look like one. You've got your vehicle in there. You've got your gyrocopter, not the gyrocopter. That's not the ornithocopter, is it? That's something different at the top. But this looks like a base that has been built. And the freedom and ability that we have when it comes to base building in this game is absolutely phenomenal. Walking around the base looks really, really cool. I like some of these crafting systems. This looks like some form of fabricator. And then in the left, in the corner, it looks like some form of generator. Alongside all the shelving that you can see, which houses various storage units. And then we've also got what I don't know what these two machines are in the corner over here. But going through the base looks insane. So we're going to have various levels of building the base. Now, I'm sure this is a base, but what does turn me off, well, not so much turn me off, but make me think otherwise, is the fact that there's sand and stuff dotted everywhere. Whether that's going to be something that builds up over time in a base that you've built, I think that would be a really, really cool feature. That's not something I've seen in games before either. Yes, you do have things clip in, but having natural environments build up, like puddles and things like that, as you progress through the game and they're actually happening whilst you're playing, is really cool. Then here we have some form of, it looks like a trading settlement. These look like traders here. I don't know what the gold thing is that you see on the desks, but this is definitely a trading settlement. This isn't you walking through, but so far no screaming from the computer, no unhappiness from the beast itself, which is good news. I do like the amount of people that you've got on screen at one time. There's a lot in various scenarios that you've seen so far, and I love the actual build and world style of this. It looks really detailed. It does kind of remind me of some aspects of Starfield, just a little bit more sort of modernized, but at the same time not modernized, if that makes sense. Now here we see some more action sequence. The chopper's going around. Everything's working fine so far, but this looks cool. The sandworm looks insane. We will be able to actually see this in game as well, which I'm very, very excited for. Now, as we can see here, these are the results. So I am running a AMD Ryzen 9 5900X processor and an RX 6900 XT with 16 gig of VRAM and 32 gig of RAM, which everything's running pretty damn good so far. As you can see, player built bases, we've got 192.5 FPS, 146 as average, and then the minimum is 106. And when in the village, where there's a lot more people, there's a lot more going on, FPS is lower, which you'd expect that anyway. There's a lot more going on there, so there's a lot more to process. And as you can see, with the sandworm emerging, 156.2 average FPS there. Now, if you do run the benchmark mode, you will get a special reward, which is a knife in-game. It gives you a code at the end of the benchmark mode to place in-game when you actually get the game itself. I won't show the code, obviously, because, well, it's my knife, you fool. But now let's look at the character creator. The character creator is insane. I've had a quick, and I mean a quick flip through of this, but there's tons and tons of stuff that we'll be able to do here, which now we're entered into another cutscene.
Show yourself, child.
And then you're straight in to the character creator, which, as you can see, we've got the usual stuff there. Then we've got face type, hairstyles, tattoos, and eye makeup, and things like that. So it is pretty much run-of-the-mill stuff, but you can have a ton of presets, which I like the presets. I think they look really, really cool. You've got some beastie-looking characters. But then, as we come in on that cutscene, I think that was a sort of gameplay cutscene. The graphics don't really look all that great there compared to what they do in the benchmark. Everything looks a little bit fuzzier, but I still like the look of it. It looks good. There's a whole host of presets. An absolutely insane amount, which I like that, because some people just want to jump in and play. They don't want to have to do any of this stuff, which I can completely understand. Now, obviously, we can change things like height. We can make an absolute beast. We can have some fat-ass arms and be dench as Fook. We can have thick legs, a really long neck, or a really short neck. And then things like chest size and stuff like that, which obviously for woman and for man is very... Oh, nope. Yep, there we go. Replace that with a different preset. We can have different chest sizes for men and women. It's very different, obviously, because, well, titties. Skin tone, which you can change. There's tons and tons of different colours, which you can have there. Then eyeliner and things like that. You can have loads of that stuff on if that's what you really want. You can have eyeshadow, all of that jazz, if you're into any of that stuff. And when it comes to tattoos, there's a decent chunk. There's not a load, but it's a lot. There's a decent amount of stuff that you can do. When it comes to hairstyles, there's a whole bunch of those which you can have. You can have the curls, you can look pretty, it's completely up to you, and there's a nice chunk of freedom in there. Face types are very different. It's not as in-depth as some games. Some games go mad. Like Nightingale, the amount of character creation that is in that is absolutely insane. But you can change all of the details, like eye width, depth, all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there when it comes to the character creator. Things like voices. So there's a cool amount of stuff that you can go through, which is really good. Now the benchmark mode, pretty damn cool. Decent amount of bits and bobs in there. Nothing too fancy, but looks like my PC might actually run it, which I'm quite excited about. Now, are you guys looking forward to Dune? Would you like to see more content on it? If you would, please let me know down below in the comments. I'd like to do a little bit more on this. If it's not something that I'll cover, it's definitely something that I'll be checking out anyway. So, that sounds good. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, and stick around for more Dune Awakening and other survival titles. If you're into more RPG titles, we've got a whole host of stuff on the Space Cowboy channel. All of the relevant links are in the description down below. Fond of those buttons, I greatly appreciate it. For now though, I've been Wired, you've been awesome, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.